Hello everyone, I am your new teacher, Miss Doungel. Today we will be doing a poem, A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. First of all, before starting the poem, let's discuss a little bit about the poet, that is John Keats, uh, uh, who was one of the main figures of the second generation of Romantic poets. Along with him were Lord Byron and B.B. Shelley as well. John Keats devoted himself completely to poetry, or we can also say that he devoted his short life to the completion, to the perfection of poetry. Um, Next, it is also important to note that his poetry is marked by vivid imagery, great senses appeal, and an attempt to express a philosophy through classical legends. John Keats um, died at a very young age, at the age of 25 years. Now, that is all about the poet. Before starting the poem, there is a question given here in your textbook, which says, what pleasure does a beautiful thing give us? Are beautiful things worth treasuring? So, according to this question, we can say that beautiful things give us a lot of joy and happiness. It makes us forget our sorrows or and sufferings that we face here on this earth. It also gives us a peace of mind and a health of body. That is it. Are beautiful things worth treasuring? Um, yes, we can say that beautiful things are truly worth treasuring because, as we have mentioned earlier, it gives us joy and pleasure, and it also inspires us to overcome the challenges of life that we faced every day. Because when we talk about beauty, beauty according to the poet, it lasts forever and ever, and beautiful things give us pleasure and it makes us happy all the time. Now, let us go into the poem. I will be reading the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Here, through this line, John Keats wants to convey that beautiful things are a source of endless joy. It stays forever, it never fades. Beautiful things, when we say, according to the poet, is a source of endless joy. So, when a person dies, it does not mean that all beautiful things with him will die. Beautiful things never ceases to exist, and it always gives happiness and pleasures to us. The beautiful things that we encounter in our life give us pleasures every day, and it also strengthens and inspires us in many ways when we face difficulties in our lives. So, reading the next line of the poem. Therefore, on every morrow are we reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dirt, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and all darkened ways, made for our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Here, the poet says that every day it is the beauty which fills in us the spirits to live in, because as we know that our life here on this earth are filled with sorrows and miseries, and But despite of all this, according to the poet, beautiful things builds the desire in us to live, though there are sad moments and cruel people around us. According to the poet, we can see that the gloom and sadness caused by this negativity fades away with the positive vibes of the beautiful thing that surrounds us. That is it. I hope I am clear. Moving on to the next line. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady bowl for simple seed, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling comfort make, gainst the hot season the mid-forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair moss rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the tombs we have imagined for the mighty deed, that all lovely tales that we have heard or read, all endless, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven spring. That is it. Here the poet describes the beautiful things which are present on art. He says that numerous creation of God, like the sun, as mentioned in the poem, which gives us energy, the moons and also the moon's beauty, the trees which give us shade, are the natural beauties that surrounds us. And he also mentions the pretty flowers like daffodils, which make the world green and lively, and all the other flowers as well, the flowing streams of water, and which refreshes us in the hot summer season. And he also mentions the forests which are full of the pretty moss rose flowers, which are a beautiful sight to the eye. All these are the things of beauty according to the poet. Also, the stories of the brave soldiers who laid their lives to protect people are beautiful and inspiring as well. These beautiful things, according to the poet, are like fountain of immortality bestowed upon us by God. All these beautiful things inspires us to live on and maintain our faith in goodness. So that is all about the poem. The message that John Keats wanted to convey through his poem is that beauty is a source of never-ending inspiration and delight. It has the ability to transform lives. It can dispel negativism as well and dark thoughts, and it also helps us when we are surrounded by evil. Then that is it, that the message that John Keats wanted to convey through his poem. I hope I'm clear. The first line of the poem, as we see, a thing of beauty is a joy forever, which is one of the most important lines. From this phrase, we can see that a thing of beauty is a joy forever means that a beautiful object may be natural or artificial, makes a person happy for a long time, even though its beauty fades away, or even though its beauty fades away, it is always a source of enjoyment, happiness, and pleasure for a person. That is it. Beautiful things, when we encounter beautiful things that makes us happy, those beautiful things gives unending pleasures in us. That is what the poet John Keats mainly tried to convey through his poem. That is all about. I hope I am clear. Now let's discuss about the questions that are given in the textbook. First question is, list the things of beauty mentioned in the poem. So you can check the poem now. There are many things of beauty that are mentioned in the poem by John Keats. Let's see. As we all know that John Keats is a nature poet, and he sees beauty in all the natural objects. Some of which that he mentioned in this poem are the sun, the moon, the trees, and the daffodils, great forests, clear rills, masses of farms, blooming musk rose, and the lovely dales. All these are the beautiful things that are mentioned in the poem. Please remember that. The second question, which says, list the things that cause suffering and pain. Here, let's look to the poem. What are the things that cause sufferings and pains? The things that cause suffering and pains are jealousy, despondence, lack of human qualities, gloomy days, unhealthy and evil ways give part to many troubles. All these things cause sufferings and pains by depressing our spirits, our minds, and our body. So now question number 3, which says, what does the line, therefore are we reading a flowery band to bind us to earth, suggest to you? This sentence is taken from the poem. Here, reading a flowery band is used as a metaphor by the poet, which means that though our life is filled with stress, sufferings and sorrows and all the gloomy things, the poet wants to say that the beautiful things of art, such as nature, beings, nature, as he mentioned in the poem, that the sun, the moon, and all those trees, the rivers, and all those, everything brings pleasures and happiness in our lives. Therefore, the objects of beauty binds us to the earth like a flowery band. This is what the poet John Keats meant to say in this line, reading a flowery, therefore are we reading a flowery band to bind us to earth. That is it. Let's move to question number 4. What makes human beings love life in spite of troubles and sufferings? We have already discussed this while explaining the poem. Human beings, they tend to love life in spite of the troubles and sufferings because of the existence of several natural and beautiful things around them. These things of beauty never fades. They give us joy and optimism to human mind, and thus help in overcoming or bearing the troubles and sufferings. That's why human beings tends to love life in spite of the troubles and sufferings that we faced in our daily basis. So now, moving to the next question, which asks, why is grandeur associated with the mighty deed? The grandeur of the mighty deed, and the grandeur of the mighty dead lies in their noble deeds. As we have discussed in the poem, those brave soldiers who lived their lives for the love of the country or for the sake of humanity, their noble deeds are remembered forever in our hearts. That is what the poet tried to convey in this through this. They have left behind the beautiful legacy of their brave acts, which human beings remember forever. Their selfless sacrifice for their nation and deeds for the welfare of mankind still continue to inspire us. That is what that is why grandeur is associated with the mighty deed. Let's go to question number 6. Do we experience things of beauty only for short moments, or do they make a lasting impression on us? Let's see. Do we experience things of beauty only for short moments, or do they make a lasting impression on us? Now, when we see a thing of beauty, something which attracts us, even for a few moments, it leaves in us a lasting impression, and it stays in our imagination forever, and this becomes an endless source of joy and happiness for us. It never passes into nothing. That is why according to the question, we can say that yes, we experience and things of beauty that we experience makes a last impression on us, because it stays in us forever and ever. As I have said while explaining the poem, where even though a person dies, the great deeds and the beautiful things in him does not fade away. It leaves in us a great impression about him or her. Moving to the next question, that is the last question, which says, what image does the poet use to describe the beautiful bounty of the art? What image does the poet use to describe the beautiful bounty of the art? The poet John Keats used the image of an endless fountain of immortal dream, which you can find in the last 2 lines of the poem, an endless fountain of immortal dream. Here, the poet used the image of an endless fountain of an immortal dream to describe the beautiful bounty of the art, because the art, like a fountain, the art which is like a fountain gives us numerous beautiful sights like the sun, the moon, flowers, rivers and greeneries that the poet mentioned in his poem. All the natural objects that attracts the poet, all these are the beautiful sights according to the poet. That is the last question of this poem. I hope I am clear enough. That is it. Thank you for today. We will be having our next class some other days again. Thank you.